Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Cosmic Sorcery COSMIC Build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. So the COSMIC is a Paladin mixed with a Sorcerer, and this is actually very synergetic. This mod was made by CamTheLitFam, and the Cosmic Sorcery is just an absolute blast to play. So I guess to start off with our cantrips, download Mistress Spells is just going to enhance this class, because then it gives us the Green Flame Blade and Booming Blade cantrips, which are amazing. And I'd also recommend taking Frostbite as well as Bone Chill. Now, for the spells that we'll be going with, Shield is just a really nice one to increase armor class by 5 for survivability's sake, and Magic Missile for the guaranteed damage. We're going with the Cosmic Sorcerer. This gives us the Cosmic Ray, which fires a concentrated beam of cosmic radiation. We also get the Witness Infinity spell, which does a 2d10 of psychic damage, as well as the Spatial Rend, which does 2d6 of force and slashing damage. So you claw through your way through space, and as a subclass feature, your blood is deeply connected to the astral plane, and your abilities are unmatched. For our ability scores, 16 Dex, 14 Constitution, 10 Intelligence and Wisdom, and 16 Charisma will be the move here. Now, I'll be focusing on showing off the most effective way to build this, and we'll also be going over the gear options as well as showing off some combat too, so you get an idea of what to do with this class. So at level 2, we get our meta magics. I would recommend going with the Twin Spell and Distance Spell. Increasing range is actually very useful, as well as Twin Spell to be able to Twin Haste. We get to choose another spell here at level 2, so Chromatic Orb can be nice, but if you have Mistress Spells, Frost Fingers is very effective. Creating ice surfaces is super useful. At level 3, we get to choose the Quicken Spell meta magic, which is fantastic, and we get a level 2 spell, which I would recommend taking Hold Person. The reason we're taking Hold Person is because we can then set up and do Divine Smite on enemies. At level 4, we get to choose another cantrip here, so you can go with something like the Lightning Lure or even like Ray of Frost. And for the spells that will be taken at level 2, Scorching Ray is really nice just for consistent damage, but also Mirror Image to increase your armor class by 9. This just gives you a bunch of extra survivability, so you can go with either of those two choices there. And for our feat, I think it's best to go with an ability score improvement on either Dexterity or your Charisma. Charisma is just better spell casting, so we're going to roll with that. At level 5, we get ourselves the Absorb attack, which does 3d6 necrotic and heals yourself within melee range, and the increased gravity pulling enemies to the ground and slowing their movement. When they're slowed, they get really weak. And this does 3d10 of force damage. As for the spells we'll be taking at next level, Haste is just definitely useful because we can twin this to ourselves and another target. Getting an extra action is massive. At level 6, we get the Bubble, which can absorb 5 attacks from a target, which is huge. And then for our next leveled spell, I'm a big fan of just taking Fireball. This is just super effective. But if you have Mistress Spells, Tidal Wave is actually going to be our most effective spell, and we get a different version of Fireball later on, so it's probably best to take this as just gives you better options, because here we got our Comet, which does 5d10 or 5d6 fire and force damage. We also get the Solar Flare doing 68 of fire, and it's a straight line attack. We get Accelerate, slow you and your allies' perception time, allowing you to move and react faster than normal for 4 turns. And Polymorph, which allows you to transform something into a sheep. Now for level 4 spells, Ice Storm is huge because this is crowd control without concentration. Making an ice surface makes people slip and fall. At level 8, we get the Banish spell. And we get to take another level 4 spell, which we can go back and take Lightning Bolt. Just lightning damage is extremely useful. And for our feat, let's max out our Charisma. Just makes sense there. At level 9, we get ourselves the Fly action, and we also get Telekinesis, and we get access to level 5 spells, with some of them like Insect Plague, Cone of Cold, and Hold Monster being very effective. We're going to go with Cone of Cold. It's just one of the best late game spells, especially if you have water set up. Now for our next level cantrip, we do just really take your preference. Firebolt can be nice for exploding things. Now for the next level spell, I think that Hold Monster can be really effective, but Confusion and Counterspell are two other very nice options that we do have. And for the meta magics, we can go with something like the, I guess, Careful Spell. The next choice is either Subtle Spell, Careful Spell, your personal preference really. So once we get ourselves to level 11, this gives us the Black Hole, which pulls all enemies to the center. Time Stop calls all living creatures within 8 meters become frozen in time for 10 turns. Omniscience, if you grant yourself this for 10 turns, you're granted the knowledge of the gods for just a moment. And Globe of Invulnerability, one of the best spells in the game. Now, for last level 6 spell, that's just really nice to take Chain Lightning. Level 12 gives us the Meteor Shower, doing a 25d6 fire and force damage, which is crazy. And the Eviscerate, doing a 50d10 plus 300 force damage as an action and a bonus action. That just completely deletes whoever you're targeting, which is crazy. And we can also go with like Circle of Death if you wanted something necrotic based. We can even go back to some earlier levels and take some of the other spells here. So even like Ralutham Psychic Lance can be nice. Synaptic Static for the psychic damage can also be pretty effective. And for our feat here, we'll go... Or actually, another good option that is pretty effective is the I was wrong. I was thinking if it had Steel Wind Strike, that'd be a really nice choice. But we can go with an ability score improvement on our dexterity here for better attack rolls, and I would recommend using a Fowler Alluve for our weapon. You can also go with the Savage Attacker if you want to increase your overall weapon damage too. But once we get ourselves a level 13, this gives us an extra spell, so we may as well go with really filling out whatever spells you didn't take previously. Macabre Explosion can be really nice just because you can explode corpses, and it doesn't fit thematically, but it's a nice spell just to have, so we can roll with something like that. And once we get ourselves a level 14, this gives us a replace spell if we wanted to. And then 15 gives us another final spell to take as we're going to switch over. Confusion can also be nice, I guess, another spell choice that we just didn't take previously, so we're going to go with that. Now, level 16, we don't really you get a feat here, but I think it's best to just add in the Paladin at this level. You could also do level 14. I guess that's something I should have mentioned. 14 with 6 of Paladin to give the give yourself the aura of protection. We're going to go with the Vengeance Paladin here for our subclass, as well as once we make our way to level 2, we're going to go with the Defense for the +1 armor class. Prepared spells, I would recommend taking all of the smites as well as command. Command is going to be a really effective spell. Everything else is just fine. Giving ourselves a heal can be effective, and heroism's not terrible, I guess. Not something we're going to use often. At level 3, we get our Vow of Enmity, which we can apply to ourselves to give advantage on attack rolls, so I'd recommend doing that once you start combat. Level 4 gives us another lay of hands and another feat, so we can max out our dexterity at this point. And finally, we get ourselves the extra attack. We get Misty Step and Hold Person, which we already have, but that's fine. So I would also recommend taking the Branding Smite in case you encounter any invisible targets. Now, what this ends up looking like as far as gear options go. So early game, the Hood of the Weave is really nice just for the increase, or I guess it's not early game, but the Helmet of Arcane Acuity is great early game. The Hood of the Weave is another great option once we get to late game. The Helmet of Arcane Acuity stacks up your spell save DC on melee attacks, which is nice. I like the Cloak of Protection just for survivability's sake. Potent Robe is a great early game one, which will give you additional damage on your cantrips, and also give you a temporary health equal to your Charisma modifier. Now, once we get to the late game, there's a couple good options. We can go with like the Armor of Agility here, which gives us the 29 armor class. And also going with the Helldusk armor will give us 28, so it's kind of clear that the Armor of Agility works best because of our high dexterity options. Helldusk Gloves is great too for the +1 spell save DC and additional fire damage on your attacks, and the Evasive Shoes for the +1 armor class. I like Marka Heshker as this is a pretty effective for spell casting purposes, but since we're also going to be doing some type of smiting too, the Infernal Rapier can be a good choice. With the Infernal Rapier, it's going to use your Charisma, but our dexterity is high too, so you can also use dexterity-based weapons. So something like Crimson Mischief can also be somewhat effective. If you really want to go crazy, Baldur and Giant Slayer with a Strength Potion can be another option. We do want to have something in our main hand, so we can use an offhand sword. So even like the Fowler Alluve weapon can be really effective. This is base early game option that we can use all the way through to the end of the game. So that is another good one. Just really depends if you want to go with more spell casting, or if you want to go with more of a bonk type attacker with using weapons. So there's a lot of great ones. Marka Heshker is a lot of fun, but this does the 1d8, whereas this one, it's 1d10. But I like Marka Heshker personally because you can build up lightning charges, which is pretty effective, so that's what we're going to roll with. The Band of the Mystic Scoundrel is huge, though, because when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can cast an illusion or enchantment spell as a bonus action. That's things like Hold Monster. That's things like your command spells, so you get a lot of options, which is crazy. And also got the Ring of Protection. We do have bonus action spells, so we can also cast spells too, but it's nice to be able to have options without using your sorcery points. So what this ends up looking like in actual combat. So to start things off, we can drop like a comet down on them. We got so many spells here, it's actually kind of crazy. So you can remove ones that you do not use, but even starting off with a meteor shower can be pretty fun. So we'll drop this down just right on this area of enemies, and then I guess we'll just drop them all right here. This will probably take them all out. Yeah, creates a pretty big colorful explosion there, and that just completely burned everyone in its core to a crisp. So that's not a bad way to start things off. We can also just go ahead here with our Divine Smite. So this is nice because we can choose to upcast this big bonk here, and that should hopefully take them out. Smiting with this weapon's funny, and it'll also use your lightning charges on it, so that can be pretty fun too. And we'll go ahead with another Divine Smite. Oh, critical block, wow. But not to fear, we do have the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel allows us to cast a lot of these spells. Even if you miss your spell, Synaptic Static counts as one of those, so that actually becomes pretty crazy. But Hold Person's great for this because you can just crowd control people outside of your normal combat. But another great option is we do have the quicken spell, so this lets us just cast another spell. So if you wanted to, you could use your meteor shower again. It's kind of unfair, or we can just drop down the comet, which I'll just drop right there. So blast that away, and it does stack our lightning charges from this weapon onto all the attacks, so it does a pretty good amount of damage. And yeah, that's that for turn 1 of combat. I got hit with multiple commands in a row. That was not fun whatsoever. But we can just go ahead with our classic divine smites again. And that wasn't enough to finish them off, so we'll divine smite again, and that was perfect, and that actually dealt a little extra damage. Now, having macabre explosion is nice because we can explode that corpse here. We also got our chain lightning from the staff itself, but I want to use some of the class features. So accelerate can be nice because you can actually buff yourself up, and with this it gives you your text perception and time is slowed, making everyone else think you're moving really fast, which gives you an extra action. So next turn we'll have 3 actions, which actually gets really crazy. So the comet, the bubble's really nice, protect yourself and ally that can, so you can bubble yourself and protect yourself from getting hit. So we're now bubbled, which will block attacks from them, which sucks because they may actually go for a they might actually try and hit us with a command again. The bulwark there, oh, sacred flame, we're bubbled, so it only took 1 damage, and we have 3 actions now, so we're actually pretty crazy. So yeah, we have a lot of fun attacks. We can use the witness infinity here, and that's just going to do a bit of psychic damage, and mind breaks them, so they end up losing their next turn. So I guess we'll use this on both of them there. So perfect. They saved on it. That's fine. And we got 1 more spell left. I don't want to blow up the world with our crazy meteor shower because that spell is really fun. I guess we'll go with increased gravity, and we'll just drop everyone down here. So boom, slows them all. And that's perfect. So we'll just end our turn there. They are slowed. And that took out, I guess, that target as well from the force damage. You can see their movement animations are really slow, and they'll hit us with Sacred Flame, but we're fine because we got bubbled. And I guess for the next attack, we can go with our Absorb, so this we can use this to heal ourselves too, the little bitch slap there, and we got ourselves lightning charge and some health back. So that is a Cosmic Sorcerin, and this is using our smites as well as spell casting. It's a lot of fun. You get lots of great options. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.